Hello and welcome to the program Church in Focus. Yemi Balogun is my name. And you know what? Get on the phone right now and tell a friend, tell a relative, it's happening on this channel. This program is different. It is special because it is loaded. And why am I saying it's loaded? Because I got some heavy guys on the scene today. With me in the studio right now is the senior pastor of Faith Miracle Center on Coburg Road, that's in Wood Green. And he's by the name Pastor Moses Omoviye. And also with him is the chairman of the board of trustees, and he's Mr. Stuart McPherson. And you know what? Halfway through, we're going to be bringing you a gentleman. He just released a music video, and get ready to watch that video. It's going to really move you. You're going to find yourself just running all over the room and dancing. But you know what? Get your friends and tell them to get ready. This program is different from any you've seen before. God bless you as you continue to watch. Welcome to the program, gentlemen.
Thank you, Pastor Yemi.
It's good to have you guys here. I know you, Pastor Moses, you've been here before. Not your first time or the second time. But Mr. Stuart McPherson, first time. It's good to really have you here, sir.
Thank you.
Now, you're the chairman of the board of trustees of Faith Miracle Center. And somehow also, I am a member of the board of trustees. So how long have you been with the ministry for the benefit of the viewers?
20 years.
Wow. How has it been? How come you are connected? How did you get connected to this ministry, and what do you enjoy about it?
Well, Reverend John Raphael, who was the founding pastor for FMC and its predecessor, was my friend, someone who worked for me, and we became friends, and we remained friends until his death 5 years ago. Wonderful.
And how have you been enjoying being a trustee? Because I know some churches can be a real headache, you know, but somehow you've been there 20 years. How has it been?
Well, we've had our storms and our problems, and John's passing was a great sadness and a big blow to people's confidence at the time. But the Lord has his timings, and we've learnt to be patient and to trust and be secure in the knowledge that he's in control.
Brilliant. I know normally, I think you're really enjoying the work, because normally when people have difficult times with ministries, you know, generally, they lose their hair, but you still got everything intact. So that's good news. So now tell me, why is it important for a church to have a very proactive board of trustees?
Well, we're all founded on the rock, but the trustees are the building blocks of the church. They keep the church on track, they give security to the pastors, and help in any way they can to promote the cause of the church. And I think that their main role is to be secure and to be a source of advice and inspiration, confidence when difficult times happen, like the passing of important people, the moving of older members of the church back home to other countries. All these things tend to destabilize and undermine the church, your security. And if you have a strong board of trustees, drawn internationally, then you have that security and you can ride out those storms and those difficulties and often see the opportunities in these situations rather than the difficulties and the problems.
Wonderful. You know, I have a pastor friend in Europe. He has one of the largest churches in Europe. And he said something to me some time ago. He said I had to appoint leaders above myself to protect me from myself.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. And you know, you only know what you've learnt, and sometimes your presentation. You look at this program, and at the presentation, you may be absolutely right, or it may be a little bit off centre. And if people can point those things out, but from their past experience, it's a great asset to the pastor and to the leadership of the church on a week-to-week basis.
Wonderful. But from your personal experience, how important is it for a pastor of a church to have mentors or one mentor looking after them?
I've had a series of mentors through my life, both spiritual and commercial. And what they've given to me is been a tremendous source of information and advice. Someone who's always on your side, who will always tell you well done when the world's not telling you well done. and I mentor young people now. Some of them have just come to me, gravitated towards me over the years, and I've kept in touch with them, and I see them from time to time. And I act as a referee, act as a mentor, just simple advice, simple confidences, reminding them of where they've come from, the successes they've had, rather than the failures they've had, and how to avoid those mistakes in the past happening again. We all need that. We all need that comfort. I mean, Jesus was the great mentor of the disciples, and he didn't give up on them. He didn't lose hope in them. He kept on with them right through to the end, and left them well equipped to deal with their lives ahead of them. And he was the perfect mentor, and we can only just follow in those footsteps.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I just spent more time with you because this is the first time we have you here, so we have to take as much as possible out of you. Coming to you, Pastor Moses. You've had mentors, all your life, because I know you started ministering the gospel from the age of 6. And God has used you mightily. And I remember the first time you came over to the UK, you were just about 12 years old. And I was your guardian then, because you couldn't travel all alone to minister in different places like Scotland and all the areas. But we went together, thank God, and I saw the miraculous in your life from that age. But then you became very popular, being the youngest person to ever preach on a Christian channel in the UK. What role have your mentors played in your life to keep you down to earth so that you don't go kill yourself like so many people have done?
I think that it's very important that we understand that when God calls us and commissions us, the kind of people that we have around us is key to the manifestation of what God has put in us. When you think of Timothy in the Bible talks of the grandmother, the mother, and then the influence of Paul in his life. And that's why in FMC today, we are
Faith Miracle Center.
Faith Miracle Center at church. We are very blessed to have the kind of trustees that we have. We have Stuart here. We have yourself, Pastor Yemi, as one of our trustees. And we have
a gentleman called our brother Darren.
Darren, yeah. He's one of Sister Pat. And we have a collection of people who both love the Lord and people of integrity and people who can give you the support that is needed. And they're drawn from all walks of life, from all races and background and cultures. And it's just fantastic because we are a church in the city of London, which is a multicultural environment, and we embrace all of that, and it's been fantastic. And for me, my development, God has always put the right people around me at every stage of ministry, both during my evangelistic ministry. Like you mentioned, when I first came here to the UK for evangelistic trips in the days when I used to just come as a kid, you used to travel around with me.
Yes, and I got to just remind the viewers first that in those days, you might not recognize him now. We used to call him Evangelist Moses. Some young boy, he sang a lot and he actually ministered the power of God. Here he is as Pastor Moses today, mature, solid man of God.
Last time when I was here for this program, we had a clip of some of those meetings we had when I was quite young. So I think it's very important that people know when God calls you, whether to preach, to sing, to teach, you must allow yourself to be surrounded with the right set of people, not oh yes members, but people who can tell you when you're going wrong, and people who can, cheer you when you are going right, and people who are ready to give you the support and hold the ladder for you to climb. And if you don't have that, if you climb to the top and the ladder becomes unstable, you will come crashing down.
Amen. And I know you came from an Assemblies of God's background.
Yes.
So apart from the leadership, like the trustees within the Faith Miracle Center structure, you still have your trustees from the Assemblies of God background. Do you still have a relationship with them? Are they still there for you?
I grew up under the Assemblies of God background. I'm very connected to the pastors, both those who pastored me some years ago and some that have worked with and God has used to influence my life and ministry. And they've acted as mentors. And, it's helped me because people ask, how come you started from the age of 6 and you were able to carry on? You never had a break where you strayed and came back. And I think that one of the reasons is because of the kind of people that God put around me, both from the Assemblies of God Church, who have stayed with me till date, you know, and then God has added the present crop of people like yourself, Stuart. You have known me and connected with me since I was 12, 13. Right. So it's been fantastic. Wonderful. And it's just been like a family.
Amen. And every year, end of the year, you normally hold a huge crusade, you know, in Nigeria.
Yes.
Tell us roughly how many people are in attendance of that crusade?
We get an average at the lowest, you know, 5,000 people, the minimum. And we sometimes, you know, we get way double that number. And Stuart was with us in 2009 and saw the huge crowd. We have the hall packed out. We had people outside, and just the response, you know, to the gospel. And sometimes you almost feel like Peter, you know, let's build a tent there. And Stuart enjoyed his presence there.
I did. It was amazing, absolutely amazing. And the hunger for God. These, I mean, essentially very poor people with very limited options, and yet their hunger for God was huge and overwhelming. And I'll never forget that experience of seeing this huge, almost hysterical need to connect with God and with the faith, and it was just wonderful. It was just a great inspiration.
You've been working with Pastor Moses for some years now. What can you tell us about him in particular? Because some people say, well, I want to maybe go try this church or come see this pastor. What, you know?
Well, he's a great man in lots of ways. He's a remarkably mature person for his age. And I think God's used him wonderfully. It's no excuse that he's got the right football team to support. And we get those priorities right every week. You know, we talk about why Chelsea didn't win, and should they get rid of their manager. You know, all these important issues of church and faith come into play. And we just have a good friendship, a good relationship. I work very closely with his predecessor, and I've tried to be a continuity man between the two, and there are huge parallels between their ministries and the way that they operate and the things they've been through. And we have great aspirations for Faith Miracle Centre. We believe very much in the title of the centre being what it is. You know, our commitment is to the faith, and we want to see miracles. We expect to see miracles, and we have seen miracles. And as Moses says, we're very much a family there. There's a family atmosphere. Family is very important to the church as a whole and as individual families. And we know how important. I'm a social worker by background and training, and I know how important it is for families to be at the core of everything we do, and to give children the best chance that we had.